Tuesday, everyone. We have a doozy coming up your way. It's going to get that heart rate up and jacked up just a tiny little bit. But before we get to that, let's talk about the warm-up that's in store for you guys today. What we have is a plank knee to nose for 10 to 20 alternating reps. Your call on the rep scheme depending on where you're at today. Half Turkish get up for 3 to 5 aside into a bird dog for 10 alternating reps. Half Turkish get up again on the other side, little sandwich there for 3 to 5 reps. Side lunge for 10 alternating with a 2-second hold in the bottom of each rep. 2 to 3 rounds there to get things kind of moving around. We're going to move down to the bottom piece, which is the lateral ski jump for 20 seconds. Single leg RDL jump for 5 aside. Get a little bit of that single leg action going in. Bear walk for 4 steps forward and 4 steps backwards. And I'll show you what that's all about in terms of how you can time that out. Basically, it's just past the yoga mat distance. So you can kind of experiment with that, and I'll show you 2 different ways to play. After that, we're going to start touching the dumbbell. Dumbbell deadlift for 3, dumbbell kettlebell swing for 3, repeat on the opposite side for 3 and 3 again, and then repeat and have some fun. The only piece that we haven't touched on this in terms of the work set is a humeral glide to knee push-up. If you'd like to add that in to prime yourself up for your burpees, please do so. It's a great drill to prime up for the burpee. If you're not wanting to do that, that's fine too. But if you're going to, I would add it in after the bear walk before you touch the dumbbell. So just a little addition there if you like to play, add that in for some extra fun. The workout now, we have 3 rounds, which are going to consist of a wall run for 90 seconds accumulative. From there, you will then do a dumbbell or kettlebell swing for 30 or 20 reps, and then you'll take down burpee for 30 or 20 reps. So you have a little option in terms of the rep scheme. If you're looking at playing around with some volume options, the work set gets pretty tough. It gets pretty heavy sometimes, but it's a nice chance to experiment. If you know you can swing well for more volume, but you struggle with the burpee and you want to work on full burpees, maybe go 30 swings, 20 burpees, and take it down that way, and that cuts the volume down a little bit so you can work on that full burpee skill. So mix and match, have some fun, make it yours, you guys. Have some fun with it today. But let's get you ready, warmed up, to have some fun. All right, guys, let's warm up a little bit. Let's get those feet under the hips. We'll take the arms big and tall overhead. We're just gonna give ourselves a little shrug, keeping those shoulders nice and close to the ears, and we'll pull them back down. We'll reach to one side, big lateral reach. Then we'll take it to the other side, big stretch. Good, we'll take it all the way down to the floor. We're gonna touch those toes, walk up those shins. We'll come back down to the floor, frame a foot, setting up in that nice lizard. We're gonna take the inside hand all the way up to the sky, bend at the elbow, and then reach straight ahead. We'll pull back with the elbow, straight ahead, pull back, reach straight ahead, we'll reach up, and then we'll rotate forward and come through with that forearm to the floor. Big stretch to the sky, plant the hand, step back into our down dog, reaching those hips. We'll come back into our lizard, nice and square in those hips. Inside hand's gonna reach up, bend to 90, we'll reach straight ahead, pull back, straight ahead, pull back, and straight ahead. We'll take it up, and rotate, forearm to the floor, come back up, plant the hand, step her back into your down dog, reach those hips, just press, and walk those feet out a little bit, nice and gentle, nice and easy. See how it feels. See where you're at. And come back to center, extend into that plank, tiptoe those feet all the way up. We're gonna roll ourselves up. Big stretch, a little shrug. Oh yeah, come down with those hands. Let's get you guys ready to go. If you'd like to continue doing some gentle warm-up, please pause the video, take that down for yourself, touch on anything you need specifically warmed up for you. We're gonna start moving into that first phase of warm-up, which kickstarts with our knee to nose. So I'm gonna turn to our profile kind of view so you guys can see from the side. I'm gonna get my hands under my shoulders, I'm gonna pull my ribs and hips together, pressing my shoulders to the sky. I'm gonna maintain this position, but I'm gonna pull my knee right up to my nose. As I try and join my nose and knee together, I'm going to do it on the other side. So pulling and come back to center. So the entire time I'm going through that process, I'm pressing through my shoulders. I can round my upper back a little bit more, but we want to try and keep my hips level and low. So we're not lifting our hips up into the air to get that knee up. I only want you to keep that upper back a little bit more, kind of like a cat-cow curl back, opposed to lifting the hips super high. So we have 10 to 20 reps of those. Focus on that good plank in between reps and take that time so you're not using momentum to get that knee up there. Our next exercise is our half Turkish get-up. And I'm going to grab my little ab mat here just for my knee because the floor is hard. And we want to make sure that we're enjoying the exercise, not just grinding our knee away into the floor. So my back knee is in a lunge position. So my knee is under my hip, my back toe is curled under. My front knee is in this lunge position as well, knee stacked over top of the heel. The kicker here is that the leg that's in front is the arm that's going to be overhead holding the dumbbell or not holding the dumbbell. Depends on your personal preference with this. From here, I'm going to take it directly to the side, keeping the arm pointing up to the ceiling and my arms stacked over top of each other. From here, I'm going to come back up, finishing in that nice tall overhead position. So I'm going to do another rep facing the side so you guys can see that profile view. I'm going to get set up with the same knee forward, same knee back so you can see. So toe is curled under for control, knee is under the hip, under the shoulder, front knee is over top of the heel, and the same leg, same arm is up in the air. I am going to take the body to the side, absorbing through my fingers, keeping that dumbbell pressing to the ceiling, and I'm going to slowly come back up into that kneeling position, keeping that arm overhead the entire time. So if you are not comfortable doing that with load, that is okay. You can take that with an empty hand and work on that exercise without, because it is a tough exercise with or without load. So please keep that in mind. Good overhead position, take your time, or if you want to warm up with one round of it, empty hand, then the next time we see it, you can add a little load in. You can do that as well. Mix and match, warm yourself up well. Our next exercise is the bird dog. So the bird dog, again, we're going to flow from that tabletop. So my knees are under my hips, my hands are under my shoulders. I'm going to pull my ribs in, press my shoulders up, and I'm going to extend my right hand, left leg. And I'm going to try and stay as square as I can through this entire exercise. So my armpit points down towards the floor, my hip is closed and square, all right, to the floor as well. And I'm trying to press my heels straight back. And then I'm going to alternate so that I can pull my other side back. And I'm trying to think press and reach opposed to lift. If I think lift, I tend to lift that leg way up high and keep it bent. What I want to think about is pressing my heel straight back so it goes straight back. And if I could, I'd have a ruler or a meter stick from heel to hip, hip to shoulder as I extend that arm, and I'm working on creating some nice straight lines. Maintaining a nice tight core and taking my time. I would hold a beat per rep just to show control. And if you feel more comfortable just doing the legs, so focusing on keeping the hips square, extending the leg, and holding that table with the arms, that's okay too. Focus on pressing through the shoulders, that activation through the upper back as you work on extending the legs out as individual pieces. So that's totally fine as well, but hips are square and level. After you've done your 10 reps, you'll move back into that half Turkish get up again for 3 to 5, and then we're gonna pop up to our feet and work our side lunge. So our side lunge, again, we did this yesterday with our wide stance good morning. So I'm gonna stand up nice and tall, my glutes are tight, my toes are slightly turned out. I'm gonna pull my hips towards my heel, thinking about squatting and trying to keep my upper body tall. So I'll only go down as far as I can maintain those two pieces of our points of performance. So my knee is going to track my toe just like a squat. My upper body is going to stay tall just like a squat as well, keeping the hip focused on going towards the heel and then standing tall. This is a great exercise to help open up the shin and the ankles for our squatting in the future. So take advantage, work to your range, keep that body tall. If you want to load that under the chin, you can hold a light dumbbell in a goblet position, but make sure we're focusing on our depth and our range of motion priority there. Quick recap, we have our plank knee to nose for 10 to 20 alternating reps, half Turkish get up for 3 to 5 aside, into our bird dog, 10 total count, Hack Turkish get up, 3 to 5 a side, and a side lunge for 10 alternating reps with a 2-second hold per side. 2 to 3 rounds, take that down, pause the video, get yourself ready to go. We're gonna move into the next phase of work that gets a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more oomph going behind it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move my ab mat out of the way, and I'm gonna stand behind my dumbbell, because what we're gonna start off with is our lateral ski jump. So I'm gonna get over to the side, get myself ready, and again with the lateral ski, we wanna think about picking that leg up, using those arms to get that good momentum and that swing as I use my body as a whole. So I'm not just reaching and jumping with my leg, I'm using my upper body, using my leg all together to get that momentum and that quick little jump. If you're not a jumper, you can work on the same thing, loading that leg. I swing step, and I swing step, or I can swing drag, and I can use that drag leg as a chance to stabilize if I struggle with that stabilization, or the controlling of the lateral energy. I can use that leg to slow me down and stop my body from going too far over. So do what you need to do there. We have 20 seconds of just continuous movement, giving yourself a little pause per side to show control for that energy. After that, what we have is a single leg RDL jump. So everyone's favorite movement. I love this one. It's always a good time. So I'm gonna pick my favorite leg to load. What I'm gonna do, whatever leg is gonna go back is the arm that's gonna reach forward and work on that counterbalance. So I'm gonna load my left leg. So I'm gonna reach back with my right, reach forward with my right arm, and I'm gonna slowly come up into that standing balance position with the high knee. That's variation number 1, just working on the shape, working on the position nice and slow for balance. Variation number 2, we use a little bit of momentum coming through with that leg and only coming up onto the toe. So I load it the exact same way. I come through, I load my knee, I come swing. It pulls me off of my heel just a bit, but I'm not leaving the ground. I'm using that momentum to maintain that same position and pull myself off my heel just a little bit. My last variation, I follow through with the ankle and I leave the ground a little bit. So same setup, I load the leg, I come through, pop with the ankle. As the knee comes through, I get this little upward motion. I land, control, set for the next one. Don't worry about trying to link these. This is not meant to be super aggressive and fast. I just want you to get used to loading the leg and using that momentum, that cross-body momentum to get that vertical lift. So we have 5 per side. Take your time, build yourself up from variation 1 to 3, or whichever variation you like to work on, stick with that for the day. Now we're gonna play around the bear walk, and it's a little different for everyone today. So what we're gonna do, you'll notice that I have a square and some green tape on the floor. It's kind of just a bit bigger than a yoga mat on either side, but you can kind of experiment with some minor distance in your house. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get ourselves squared away in our down dog position. And what we can play with is one variation of bear walk, so we can have a soft knee. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna step for 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then take it backwards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you can take it back again for 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the bear walk backwards is more challenging than we give it credit for, but think of it as crawling backwards down a giant hill. So we're trying to crawl ourselves down without falling over. So it's a cool little exercise. A different variation of the bear walk can actually be this little bear crawl. So we use our quad plank. And this is a little bit more challenging on the core. So we have ourselves in our tabletop. I lift myself into my quad plank. I step forward and forward, keeping my back flat. And I'll do the same thing back. So I'll go 4 forward, 4 back. I'm moving my opposite hand to opposite foot to travel across the floor and travel back. So there is a little bit of coordination involved in that work set on both accounts, be it the flat variation or the hip high variation. Play with both, see which one you like better. Neither are better nor worse, they're just slightly different. All right, and they're gonna load the core in a different manner. So play around, see how it feels. It's just a nice way to heat the shoulders up in the core. core with some locomotion, all right? So after that bear walk, what we're gonna do is play around with the dumbbell again to get these things heated up for our swings. So what we have is a dumbbell sumo deadlift. I'm gonna get myself set up with the dumbbell in between my feet. I'm roughly in a squat stance. I'm gonna stand super tall. I'm gonna take my hips back and down. I get set up, and I'm going to deadlift. Keeping the dumbbell between my feet, I'm gonna take the hips back and down, good back position, chest is up, and then I'll stand tall. I don't necessarily have to take the dumbbell down to the floor, but I would like to see it below the knee somewhere to work on that range of motion. But again, listening to our back position and making sure we're keeping that good extension through the lumbar curve and keeping that body nice and straight in that hinge. From my 3 on my right side, I will then move into a dumbbell or kettlebell swing. Either way I'd like, all right? So what I'll do is I'll go into either a swing with both hands, in a golf club handle swing, or I'll do a single arm swing holding onto the dumbbell with the same hand I just deadlifted with. So I'm gonna go through a couple of those swings turning to the side of each so you guys can see. And the one thing I want you guys to pay attention to is my back position, my body position doesn't change regardless of how I'm holding the dumbbell or kettlebell. So both hands on the bell, I take my hips back like I was gonna jump onto a box. My hands stay above the knees, and I'm just using my arms as a little rope, just to kind of guide the dumbbell to where I want it to go. But my hips and my knees are doing the work. My hips and legs are driving the energy to get that kettlebell or dumbbell moving. Now a couple reps with both hands on the handle, like a golf club. I pull back, the back position, the body position, the mechanism of me getting the dumbbell moving is the same. I'm just holding onto the dumbbell slightly differently. Then the single arm, same idea. Hand stays above the knee. I'm gonna work on that good swing. The only kicker with this one, I just have to really focus on staying square in my torso. So with the single arm, it's very easy to rotate and move and rotate. Try and keep yourself as square as you can through the shoulders, and we can help by keeping this arm kind of out and away to kind of keep that body engaged a little bit more through the side. So how that's gonna work, you'll do 3 dumbbell deadlifts on one side, then you'll go through 3 swings, you'll switch hands, 3 deadlifts on the other side, 3 swings, however you wanna hold the dumbbell or kettlebell, and then you'll continue on again, 3 to 5 rounds. So play with that, have some fun, enjoy, mix and match those different dumbbell or kettlebell holds to see how you like it and see what feels best. All right, and then it's always nice to play around. Even though if you know you're not gonna do a single arm in the workout, maybe play with it a little bit in the warm-up just to practice it and see how it feels to change things up. As a quick recap, we have our lateral ski jump for 20 seconds, total count of reps. There's no rep count that's necessary, no proper number to hit. I just want you to move well for 20 seconds. Then you're gonna move into 5 single leg RDL jumps, working on balance, one of those 3 versions. Bear walk for 4 steps, forward and back. You can do that a couple times if you'd like, just to kind of get the body moving around. And then dumbbell deadlift for 3, dumbbell kettlebell swing for 3, repeat twice on the other side, and see where it takes you. 3 to 5 rounds, get yourself fired up and ready, and then we're gonna move into the workout. So pause the video, get yourself fired up, ready to go, and then we're gonna get you going. So pause, hit that warm up, come join me. Our workout today is gonna consist of 3 rounds. We have a 90-second wall run, which will have some different options there for you guys, depending on what you have access to in your work set. So keep that in mind. Your work set will kind of determine what you have access to at home. From there, we're gonna move into the dumbbell or kettlebell swing for 30 or 20. All right, so that's up to you. And whatever way you wanna hold the kettlebell or dumbbell is up to you on that one as well. So pick your adventure, have some fun, mix and match, and see how it feels. Afterwards, now we have the burpee, everyone's favorite exercise. The burpee, we have multiple variations for that as well. So I'm gonna show you a couple different ways to get down and a different variation which involves no push. So the full burpee, we get our feet together, and you take my hands to the floor, you jump my feet back, touch my chest, stand tall, little hop. So I'm trying to keep that elbow nice and stacked as I lower, and my body nice and tight. Another variation I can play with is jumping my feet back, and stepping my feet up. Or I can step back and lower, step up, or any variation of those three. You can step back, jump in, whatever you want to do. The only thing that we want to focus on is making sure we're keeping the elbow stacked and that core tight so that we're not snaking up into our burpee. We want to make sure we're tight and solid here. It's okay to press to the knees, that's fine, but make sure we're holding that tension through the midline because it helps stabilize the shoulder quite a bit. Our other variation is lacking the push. So if you're like, not quite there yet, I still hang off my shoulder in that full burpee, work the squat thrust. It's not easier, it's just a little bit different. So what we want to focus on is taking our hands down, just like the burpee, and then we jump our feet into our plank, jump our feet back in. We can also have variations of a jump back, step up, we can step back, jump in, or we can step back, step in. Any one of those variations or a combo of those are fine. Keeping in mind as well, we have a couple things to focus on in the squat thrust. My hands stay directly under my shoulder the whole time. I'm pressing through that nice upper back, keeping it tight and solid. My core is tight, my glutes are tight, so I don't get a sway back, all right? And I'm hitting a good plank in each one of those movements. So a couple things to think about as you're working through those burpees. If some of those things go on the wayside during your work set, slow things down so you can hit them, or stop, take a quick breather, reset, take them down again, just so you can maintain those key points of performance. As a quick recap for the workout, we have 3 rounds, wall run of 90 seconds, dumbbell / kettlebell swing for 30 to 20 reps, burpee for 30 to 20 reps, repeat, repeat, repeat. It's gonna be a gasser, it's gonna be a good time, and remember to stay tuned on the workout description for some different options for your wall run. Let's work for quality today, guys. Have fun and enjoy. See you tomorrow.